This is a tool called the Guided Practice Tool. It's an LTI application, which means it's basically like a plug-in that you can add on to a learning management system like Canvas or Blackboard. The reason we created this tool, we were working on a course with a lot of faculty members who had a variety of digital resources that they wanted to incorporate into the course. And so we needed some tool that kind of brought all these varying resources together. They included videos, text and images, a course ebook, PDF help sheets, all these different types of resources. We needed a tool that brought them all together and sort of provided a unifying experience for the students. So we ended up creating this tool. So again, it's called Guided Practice, and the way it works, there are activities on the left, and then on the right there are resources that will help you complete those activities. And so on the left, as I select an activity, you'll notice that on the right the resources filter based on the activity that I've selected. So if I choose Activity 2, I can use these three resources to complete this activity. If I select Activity 1, I can use these resources to complete this activity. So our idea was that students could use any combination of these resources that they saw fit. In some cases, they're going to get the same information from the course ebook as from the page on wavelength, frequency, and speed. And one student may prefer the ebook, another student may prefer the video on wavelength. So we would offer up the resources that help you complete any given set of questions or activities, and students can kind of choose on their own which resources work best for them. So that's where we've landed. This isn't a final product, but we're still iterating on it, but it's going to be launched here pretty soon. But I wanted to take you back in time and show you how we arrived at this design. At the very beginning, I created a little interactive wireframe that we use to put in front of different stakeholders, faculty members, other people involved with the project to kind of start brainstorming this idea. In this version, you can see on the left, rather than activities, this is kind of a broader or higher level topic. So you select a topic, and on the right there's a list of resources. And if I select a topic like heat and work, you'll notice that now on the right, a subset of those resources now have stars by them. So in this version, rather than filtering out resources, we were just highlighting relevant resources for each topic. And if you selected a resource, our original idea was that a modal window would appear with the content for that resource. So that was an early version, and based on that wireframe, the team kind of coalesced around the idea, so we built a very early prototype. So I actually went out and scrapped together a simple little static version of the tool using just HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. And so this was an early prototype that we actually put in front of students. So in this case, you'll notice I can click topics, and as I click topics, resources are filtering on the right. You'll also notice that in this version, like I clicked the topic calorimetry, and I actually downloaded a PDF, and our original idea was that students would just download the activities for that topic as a PDF, print it out, and they'd have that pen and paper in hand while they're working on it. And they would use the digital tool just to filter out and find the resources that will help them complete that topic. So we put this version of the tool as this prototype in front of actual students. We brought in 6 or 7 students, gave them some tasks, and observed them as they used the tool. And we made some refinements and another set of wireframes based on that feedback. One of the biggest changes we made at that point was that students were telling us that having to flip back and forth between a PDF or a printout and the digital tool, the online tool, was causing confusion, so they wanted us to consider actually incorporating the text of the activities in the tool itself rather than sending them out to a PDF. So that was one of the biggest changes we made at this point. You can see at this point when you selected a resource, we moved away from modal temporarily. We started thinking about this kind of slide out drawer effect. But this is where we started getting a little bit closer to the final design. So those are some wireframes we created after some of the usability testing that we did. And so this is another version of the prototype. You can see we're getting a little bit closer to the final design here. You can see also that we were still using a modal window. This is when we actually started putting in more content into each of these resources, and user tests were really telling us that the modal window was causing a lot of problems. So you can see in this one that's actually a pretty long scrolling modal window. So it was after this iteration that we abandoned the modal window altogether, which you'll see that in the final version. So when we finished this round, we started thinking about the admin screen. So this prototype is still just a static HTML, CSS, and JavaScript version, but we needed to actually start building out the real tool. So we needed to create the admin screen. So my next step was to wireframe these admin screens. These are the screens, the tools that instructors use to actually enter in topics and activities and resources. As a result, now any instructor at UT can create their own version of this tool, just simply filling out forms and aligning resources to activities. And so this is back, I'll take you back to the final version, and this is what we landed on. You can see now the activities are built into the tool itself, and we abandon the modal windows. When you select a resource, it actually takes you out to that resource in a new window. One of the advantages of going that route, which we hadn't thought about earlier, is that this will allow any instructor at UT to use any resource. So that includes course ebooks that are built by a third party tools, videos on YouTube. I mean, it could be anything. So the resources don't have to be confined within our tool any longer. And I'll just give you a quick look at some of the instructor views. So I'll switch over to what an instructor sees, and they have these tabs where they can add topics and add activities to those topics. And then finally they can add resources, and this is where they align resources to topics and activities. So, and you can see in this course we've added probably a couple hundred resources at this point. And I'll just select another topic here so you can see what another set of activities looks like. So again, this is the guided practice tool, and thank you for watching.